Howdy. Okay, we're back, and we're gonna fix a bug that was discovered in the last episode, which we have as GitHub issue number 6, which I've added there to track, uh, where there can be long when a station has a really long name, it messes up the entire table. So we got to fix that. So you can see what it looks like here. Yeah, this name is quite long. It breaks that. We also recognize that folks can have very, very, very long names. I know there have been cases of uh, Hawaiian names or folks from that area where they can have names that break their ID cards, things like that. We need to be able to have it not break our UI. So this should be a relatively quick thing. I think we're just going to fix this with some CSS on the front end, a couple extra styles, and make sure all that is copacetic before we continue, mostly because it's been annoying me, right? The whole UI looks silly. We're going to make a lot of changes. I don't want it to be influenced by that. And it just makes it better for the users in general. So we're going to go ahead, jump right in to here. I know this is going to be too small to see down here, but there's a few elements we're going to use. So we need to first start with our view. Actually, before we do anything, we need to get a new branch going. Episode 03. Cool. We got our episode going. Fantastic. Now let's go to the view because we need that. We're also going to need to update the styles. So let's just go straight to that. Views, net temple, and we also are in the static. And I'm not enthused with where the styles and things are. I want to change that, but we can't change it right now. We'll change it in the future. Okay, we've got our CSS all ready to go. We have that modal stuff, and I know there I have something for the table here. That's for the timeline, traffic data, T-body. Okay, here's all the fun stuff. Okay, first things first. Let's get this. Let's define a width for this. We'll define a width for this guy here, which if I inspect that, maybe we can see it. Yeah. So we can see inspect. Thank you. So we can see that it's not going to be that big. And call signs can't be that big. I think it's 6 or 7 characters, so we don't need to reserve a lot of space for that. So I'm thinking what we can do is if we go to our table, we scroll down here, we can actually, since we added classes to each one of those items, I think we can set the width here. So let's do that. Traffic data. Let's do 10 rems for now. Let's see how that looks. Let's see if we successfully, if that's all it really takes in order to make sure that we wrap. Okay, that did it. And now we can see things are centered vertically, so we can come back here and let's see, traffic data, T-body. I think we should add it here. traffic data, TD, and this vertical. This will just push everything to the top. Cool, cool, cool. So now, as soon as that generates, for little changes like this, it's a little slow, but we'll fix that. Okay, that moved everything to the top. That's fantastic. But let's see if we had some super long name by, I expect this to break everything. Okay, that's not great. So how do we fix that one? Let's see. There are some things we can use. We can pull this over. So if we look at some documentation, we can see that there is a word break when line breaks occur. We don't want break all. Let's just see how it works. Any word letter can break on the next line. Okay, let's see what that does. What I like doing here is inspecting the element, and then I can actually, you won't be able to see this because I don't know how to make this part bigger. It's word break all. That actually worked. It doesn't go anymore. We see the difference. I can turn it off and on. So that's good-ish. Okay, so now we can go ahead and add here to word break word. And then we need to look at another property here is hyphens. It depends on a specific browser, so that's not awesome. Is it available everywhere? Safari 5 requires... Okay, so it looks like we have to do this sort of thing. Overflow wrap, break word, we have to add this to that. Let's see how that does. Let's see if that does what we want it to do. And we can always, it's on auto, whatever, we'll see. Didn't add a hyphen, but interesting. Hyphens, characters that would suggest line break opportunities. Okay. Inability to find break opportunity in a language, to find a link attribute on the parent element. Okay. So let's see if I do that. I don't know if this works at all. We'll see. Let's see. Come on, build. It needed the lang. Okay, cool. So what we'll do is we'll actually pull the lang up all the way so that it's known. We will have to add like a language check, but for now, we are going to copy that. Oops. And then views, layout, and let's add this here. HTML, let's just, I think I can do that there. This way, at least it's for every little bit of thing here. This is also where that at page comes from, where it has all of the style sheet stuff set up. Does it still look right? Okay, it does. So that's fixed-ish. Is that the worst case? That seems too big. Let's drop that down just a little bit. And then this one, we should be able to make it so it's a certain amount of characters. Okay, that's better. Should we drop it on even more? I like 7. How does 6 look? 7 looks a little bit better. Okay. So let's do 7 for that. And we can do this as well. Let's do 3 M's for this just to see. So we're going to set the background color to purple or something just to see it. It's an easy way. The nice thing about changing the background is it doesn't affect the widths or anything like that. So you don't end up. Did that work? Why did that not work? Is it because check-in dash call sign? It would help if I actually use the right class name. Cool. I have to rebuild that. Okay, that's too big, I think. Max width 3 M's. That's not making a difference. Width 1 M. That seems to work. 2. Literally, it seems just like anything relatively small. I'm not sure why that is. Okay. So doing something really big does push it out. We don't really need 5 M's should be long enough, I think. Let's do 8, 7. Okay, so that's so 7 M's seems like the sweet spot there as well. That doesn't make but we wanted the width. We're not using max width there. Okay, and we don't need the color purple here anymore. Cool. We're going to do something similar for location, in which case we'll discover that now. Inspect. Let's set the nice shade of green. Use Command Enter or Tab. Okay. To add another, so max width. Okay. We can leave this for now. Let's see. If we set the width to 10, that's a little narrow. Okay, we can leave 20 M's for that. Why not? Traffic data check-in location. Okay, so that's good. And the time is probably going to be about as long as the call sign traffic dash check-in time in, I believe we called it. Let's look here. Time dash in, and we can set the width of that to 7M as well. And we're almost reloaded. Okay, so at least these things have some defined widths now. Cool. I don't like how these don't line up. I think what I'd rather do is, if we make these left aligned, if we change the alignment on them, that might be better. Because these headers are center aligned. I think it's better to do line left. So let's see. Traffic data. We have our headers here. TH text align left. And we have our traffic header, which is defined elsewhere. That's text align left. And the first one is text align center. The last other ones are let's see how that looks. This is mostly experimentation. I'm not a designer, so I'm just trying to make it look organized and not dirt, like everything all over the place. That didn't do anything. Why? Text align left didn't do anything. Is it because the header TH traffic data TH first child text align left is the padding? What is going on here? Why is this and this not line up? Okay, this has 0.5. Okay, left and right have no padding, and on this guy, left and right have 1 rem. So we got to change the padding on that. Let's do this. Top and bottom. Okay, that should make it line up once the application starts. Okay, that's more aligned, so that's good. Name, location, traffic type, routine, time in, all that's great. Cool. That fixes that. Let's see. Long name station the station name should wrap at some reasonable length. If the name is a long single word, it should break with a hyphen. So if it's a long single word, it should break with a hyphen. Cool. That works. Okay, that would also work for a very long location. I think that handles that. I'm going to call this one done. And should we do that now? No. Okay, so this was mostly a styling thing, which is fine. And one other thing I figured we would tackle real quick is when the service that does the net handles a check-in. I figured what I probably should do is this, I want to do strings.to upper, so at least we store it in the database as uppercase. We still have to validate it elsewhere, but at least it's consistent internally in case I make a mistake. Or at least I won't have to do it as much. And this way, if I ever show it raw, I just want to make sure the database is consistent as far as what it stores. And then let's go to this guy real quick. Is he doing a lookup? I want to see what he does for the call sign. Is this some caching? Lookup, it trims space. That's also something we need to do. We need to make sure there's no spaces or anything in here. So let's take care of that. So this is in the validation library, the validation package. So that actually should be something of the handler. Now that I'm thinking of it, the handler should turn it into get rid of spaces and all that sort of stuff. So handler net. We made this a previous time. Let's see. What we can do is if you type it in lowercase, this will automatically switch it to uppercase if there is an issue. So strings.to upper, that will be the side effect of this. That will make it capitalized. And what did we use over here? Strings.trim space. So we'll clean that up. And then we're going to do the same thing here, strings.trim space. We don't want to have any spaces in that name. Not spaces in the name, but on the front, and the prefix and the suffix should not have a space in it. And just for fun, let's do it here too, even though this comes from our dropdown. Want to make sure maybe there's something in the UI. Not time and space, trim space. Okay, so that should make it that the call sign comes in the right way. And then we force it in the service. That's cool. So now we should be able to, we never actually don't generate an error right now. So we don't really do any validations other than it's a required field. But what we can test is something with a bunch of spaces. Hello, something with a bunch of spaces. Cool. We actually can add a validation on this so that we can't have periods. You only can have letters and numbers. So alphanumeric is only what's permitted. Same thing here. Hello dot. And we can add a quick validation to that because I saw it. Fix it while we're there. Validation, and I think, what's the validation library that we're using? I want to make sure I pull up the right one. We are here in the handler, does the validation. Right here. And I think they have an alphanum simple. Oops, not that. All these fields, cool, network, string, alphanum. That's what we want, alphanum. So we can go to our view model, and we should be able to say alphanum. So now that the view model is going to say its input wants this specific type of thing. And we should be able to say hello as the call sign. Call sign can only contain alphanumeric characters. And we saw that it capitalized there, so that was important. Cool. That should. Will that fail if I do add some spaces? No, spaces are still permitted, so that's fine. Do we want any other validations here? I don't think so. I can't really do anything on the name because the name, anyone can have any sort of name. I don't want to make any sort of requirements there. I don't really care what their name is or how they do it. Any other things we have to care about? Look at all these awesome validations. This is one of the reasons I use this package. It's got a ton of validations. It's written the way I would write it, so that's good. Anything of use here? We could add a min if we wanted to. I'd have to look up the rules for call signs to see what the minimum and maximum would be. But for now, this is fine. That's already far and above what we have. So, cool. With that, I think this issue will be done. I just want to check something. Is it slash... How do you... Can you close a command thing from a slash command? Okay, I have to say close. Okay, so let's do that. We are done here. We have a bunch of little changes. HamDB, what do we make here? Okay, we added just to make sure that it passes it to the external party in caps because we're cool like that. Then let's see, how did we change our handlers? And I like using -p. Yes, we're going to use strings. And we basically made sure that it converts it to uppercase and gets rid of extra spaces. Cool. We tweaked the padding on the head and we took care of some overflow stuff. Now we added all the custom widths. Cool. And now, how did we change our view? Can I do this? Internal views star.temple. Yep, we set the language. We added a new validation. That was basically it. And how do we change our service? Oops, sorry about that. We just made it uppercase. Uppercase. Cool. We fixed, what did we do? We fixed long names. Let's be more descriptive. Close number 6. Our check-in table. We've also we also now use uppercase call signs where required, and clean up any leading trailing spaces. Cool. We can put this up there. We'll go ahead and make that pull request. And we can merge it. No conflicts. Confirm merge. I'm going to leave the branch around. And let's see, did number 6 close? Yes. Okay, cool. That's what I wanted to check. I haven't done that in a while where it actually auto closes. Fantastic. So what do we do today, or at least for this episode? We made it so the UI is getting there. It's looking the way it should be looking, or at least it's not as malformed based on the actual real data. Now that we had that real data, we could see that it did break things, right? It did make things look weird. This fixed that, and this way the next time we can dig in a little bit into actually doing that status checking and the underlines and annotations. That's what I really want to do next, which is, I have an issue for that already. Let's see. Just show you that real quick. Yep. Next time, we want net session check-ins should show their status. So we actually have to come with some sort of annotation approach. There's going to be some HTML, CSS there, as well as, let's see, indicators validation occurring in the background. Yeah, this is still going to be a little bit more of the front-end stuff. The templates, there's going to be less actual functionality, but I think after that, we're going to get into live updating, in which case will be a pretty hefty amount of functionality because we're going to focus on the server-sent events. So with that, it's time for another break. Going to get some lunch. As always, you can view the source. Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining. If you had any comments, I'll leave them down below, I suppose. And I'll catch you next time.